Yeah, so I kind of called a few years ago that we would have a huge string of quote unquote natural disasters, and they would blame it on climate change. It's interesting to see where and there is a bunch of lithium and resources in North Carolina, and those areas have really fought against it. They've said that they're not going to let that happen, so they got taken out. And what they've done to those people was a disaster because I have family in East Tennessee. They've just completely forgotten about those people. They just sit there with nothing in the winter, have been completely forgotten, completely neglected. Um,
Insane.
just let them die. They're like letting them die. So
Yeah.
it's sad.
I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, there's not a lot of free shelters for them to go to. And how many of them have the money to keep spending on hotels and things like that, right? I mean, I can't imagine what you would do in that position.
Yeah, then they're like taking their children because they're saying that they don't have the ability to take care of them.
Wait,
So like in the,
CPS is also coming in and trying to take some of them their children away?
yeah, yep,
This is an angle I have not heard of yet. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Now I don't know. I mean, because if you go down that rabbit hole, there's lots of human trafficking everywhere, right? You basically can't even turn around and look at any child organization without finding human trafficking.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Ryan Matta actually with treason. Really exposed a lot of that over the border, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Human trafficking is rampant. So I don't want to necessarily say that's what's going on there, but I don't trust CPS at all, obviously. But yeah, they basically they lose their house and then they're trying to take care of their child the best they can in whatever temporary housing they can, and then they come and say, okay, well you can't take care of your kid properly, then they take them. Um, well, yeah, I think it's just a bunch of land grabs,
I mean,
and
have
I think
you
they're
wait
building
just to
smart cities.
close that out? Have you heard of this actually? Like some instances of this happening in North
Yeah,
Carolina. Some of them are getting their children taken from
yeah,
CPS.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Quite a few.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's like an evil beyond comprehension. That is unbelievable. So we're gonna make you poor, destitute, and homeless. We're not going to give you any money, except maybe if you're lucky, $750. And then we're going to take your child away or children away because you can't afford to give them a proper home right now. That's unbelievable. Wow.
Insane. And you got to pay the 750
I have
back.
not even, huh?
You got to pay the 750 back too.
Yeah, you got to pay that whopping 750 back. That's something that I haven't heard anyone talking about. That story really needs to get out there more because if more people knew about that, I mean, maybe more people would help out and make a difference too. But that is like it's probably I mean these poor families are probably just struggling to get by. They don't even have the ability to reach out to newscasters or reporters to talk about this.
Yeah, and I mean you can kind of see where they're stuck because if they don't have a house, and obviously the other side can pitch an argument that they can't properly take care of the child because they have like temporary housing, have tents
Yeah.
or whatever. Well, and
Well,
obviously what should happen, this is what our government should be here for. Like this is when the government should go in and help. I mean, like we
yes.
give billions of dollars to Israel, we give billions of dollars. Like, can we just not give Israel some money for a second, you know?
Yeah.
And
For a quick second.
Geopolitically, we in a field that's for Israel. One day is it
just makes me want to start talking about like grabblers. You know, it's like shut up. It's so funny too because it's always like some weirdo gamma white dude. You know, whites, but you get it. Like, and then I'll just like be talking to my Jewish friend, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, totally." It's so funny.
So I was gonna be done making videos about this fool, but I heard that part of him talking about people in North Carolina and thought that this did need to be shared. About 2 weeks ago, I got an email from this guy who says that, his financial means are modest. He's been donating to Witsit for a long time. He sent him an email saying you recently said you needed 230 for telemetry extraction. I gave you the 230. I did not give you, or I did not get it to get a thank you, but the fact that you did not bother to is very telling. So, and then he, lists some biblical passages and says that it was supposed, if he could send the money back, he would give it to this local business owner, a woman in North Carolina. He put the link here and said, I would like you to PayPal the 230 back as a Christian, whatever. You can read the email there. So now it's been over 2 weeks. He emailed me a few days ago, said he hasn't heard back from him and that I can go ahead and share it. So I just think it's pretty ironic that he is talking about this and his thing. Like, first of all, he's got an RV. He could, there's probably two families could live out of that, since there's two bathrooms in it and it's pretty big, and it's got pop outs and everything. So I do find it to be very strange that he wouldn't either donate his RV or some of the money from the RV. Maybe it hasn't sold yet, whatever it is. It's easy for people to, talk about something and tell everybody else to help out. But he himself, the fact that he hasn't released the telemetry data, like that $230 didn't even go towards that. And I'm sure lots of other people donated to him for that. So, I don't see him handing out any money to anybody. So, and that chick has to be the worst fake reporter ever to not to have heard about the supposed stories of CPS coming in and taking kids away from people there. I still have yet to see any footage of that or any parents talking about it afterwards, or it reminds me a lot of the thousands of missing kids from Hawaii that, I don't know, I'm not always, quick to believe what these mainstream channels push. She's promoting for Fox. You'll hear the clip here in a second, and they're all in league with each other, in my opinion. And there's some weird agenda behind pushing missing kids, but then not having any evidence to back that up either. It was over a month ago that I heard that about the kids, and so I don't know. It's just weird that she hadn't heard of it. And I've only seen maybe one or two videos of what looks like maybe one or two tents set up that could have definitely been crisis actors or something. I don't think that if there was thousands of people that needed homes that were all living in tents, I feel like we'd be seeing a lot more footage of it. And we're not. And, we're not seeing any footage from the actual parents or grandparents or anybody talking about it. It's just all seems very, not to say that there wasn't a disaster there and there wasn't, things happening, but she keeps saying that, like, oh, maybe more people will start donating. Like, it just seems like another grift from the mainstream to try and get people to donate to something that, maybe isn't even happening still, and if it is, then like my bad for saying this, but either way, the amount of videos that I feel like I should be seeing and I'm not around it is really suspect to me. And it reminds me of East Palestine, the muddy water eating through people's boots or whatever because of like the toxic sludge, but you don't see anybody's actual boots with the holes in it or any of the things that they're claiming. It just makes me question the whole thing. They know how to pull on people's heartstrings, and they know what to say to make people, fork over half their paycheck, not even really knowing who it's going to or what it's going to help. And I don't know. We all know that propaganda is legal. We all know that they, the Red Cross and all these different big companies or corporations that like to claim that they help people half the time are helping the CEOs more than they're helping the actual people. So, I question it.
I mean, I don't know if anything's going to get people off their butts, but and watching Fox News, but hopefully this could be it. All right, Austin Witsit, it's so great to have you back on, or on my show for the first time. Tell everybody, of course, where.
Yeah, back on or on her first show, or on her show for the first time, because, she's affiliated with Stu Peters and Alex Jones and all these silly channels, so she doesn't even realize that she's never talked to this person before. Like, whatever. It's pretty obvious he's part of the club now. He did say his inbox was full of big channels that wanted to interview him, but he still has yet to do one on Antarctica. He's done the fog, now this one, and I just think it's pretty funny that he's claimed that he's got all these people that want to interview him about it, but he's not doing any.
The bottom of his camera broke off onto the little clip, so then he couldn't use his camera on the tripod anymore. But he was like trying to make me feel bad about it the whole time, but I was like, dude, you didn't have a clip anyway. So it's not my fault that I gave you my clip and then broke it off your camera. But I didn't think it was a big deal. It was just, he was saying, well, now I can't use my camera. So, well, then use mine or whatever. But I said, but don't blame me that I thought that was my camera. And I thought you were pointing it at the sun without a solar filter on it. I didn't want to lose my camera. So I grabbed it. And he was like, if you're moving a tripod up, he's like moving it up to the sun. And I grabbed the camera to stop him from moving it up, and it snapped off. Now,
I don't know how much I believe that it snapped off. Like, my friend that's into cameras said that the whole tripod would just come up with the camera. It wouldn't snap off unless you were like holding the bottom of it and purposely like pulling it off. And according to Witsit, there's like a hole in the bottom of his camera. So it's not like just the clip that he gave him broke. So, I mean, I don't know if any of this is true, because it was also weird that he was looking for like a tripod or something for his camera in Point Arenas. So if this happened in Antarctica, then like why was he in Point Arenas looking for something like, I don't know, maybe I'm missing part of the story, whatever. I just think it's weird that also that Witsit didn't know that you shouldn't point the camera directly at the sun like that. So I mean, I thought Witsit knew everything, so I guess maybe there's some things he's not unaware of and Jaren knows it, so he was trying to whatever come in. But I think the whole thing is a weird kind of tale, and seems like they might be setting it up to be a battle of between he sounded, when he was talking about Witsit, he sounded like he was pissed off about it. Like, clearly Witsit was pissed off about it, and he was mad that Witsit was mad. And instead of just being like, oh, I'm sorry, bro, like, whatever, he's like, it's not my fault. Like, well, whose fault is it? Like, you not know your own strength? Like, are you methed out, like spun out on something? And you're like, I just still think it's a weird story to begin with. But I don't know all that much about cameras, so maybe it is possible to just snap something off like that. And, but either way, there's definitely seems like they're definitely planning something, a debate versus Jaren and Witsit. Who's gonna win? Who can be like, who is less shitty, and who's gonna, I don't know. It just seems like that's gonna be the next episode.